Good evening and a warm welcome to all of you for having joined this first episode of a series of webinars that we intend to conduct in the coming year, 2023. And the focus of all the webinars would be to evangelize, to promote, and to try and see how we can mainstream batch flower therapy to address uh, a range of issues that bother us in our day-to-day life. So my name is Indroneil, for those who don't know me. And without much ado, I think you would also like to know a little bit about me. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So let me put the slide on. So as you can see at the bottom of the slide, there are quite a few designations that are written. Most of them are uh, officially taken for the word outside to relate to me, the transactional, the business world to relate to me. But in spirit, I just believe they are just tags. As a matter of fact, uh, I think I am just another simple human being like each one of you. I have my own challenges. I have my own struggle in life. And I think I am proud that I have these struggles and I navigate through these struggles. Had it not been for that, I wouldn't have learned. They have helped me to learn in course of my journey, but more about that as we move to the next slide. Yeah, so I think I'll share my journey rather than sharing with you who or what I am because I think uh, a journey is more important than the destination, right? So I don't know, many of you would have heard of this Zen parable of a woodcutter and the mystic. So once upon a time, there used to be a poor woodcutter who would go to the woods and chop wood, bring back home. Some of it he would be using at home to light his home fire, and most of it he will sell, and that's how he would earn his livelihood. He used to go every day, chop woods, bring back home. Now there used to be a sage who would be sitting under the tree on the way the woodcutter would take to the forest. And every day he will be watching the woodcutter going and coming back. Listen to this very carefully because this story has some significance in describing my own journey. So one day the sage called the woodcutter and said, where do you go? He said, I go inside the woods to chop wood. So he said, do you know a little further down if you go, you will find a coal mine. Maybe you can get a job there and you can earn a little more than what you're earning by chopping woods. You know, chopping woods and selling them hardly could get him uh, his livelihood. Very meager income used to be. So he went the next day, a little further down, and truly he found a coal mine. And he checked with the person out there. He said, yeah, please join us. And he started working with the coal mine. And he felt that he was a little more well off. And he was good with that. The sage still would be sitting on the same path and would be seeing the woodcutter every day. Again, one day he called the woodcutter and said, so you are still going to the coal mine? Yes, I am going to the coal mine. If you go a little further, you will perhaps find a gold mine. Oh, really? Yes, you can find a gold mine. And maybe you can make a lot of money by working in a gold mine. So without further delay, the next day woodcutter went to the gold mine, and as the sage had suggested, he got a job there. And he was having a decent income. So his children, instead of having food just one time, one meal a day, they now started having 3 or 4 square meals a day. And he was very happy, his family was happy, he was very grateful to the mystic for having shown him the way. And the mystic would still be sitting there. After some time, he called the woodcutter again and he said, "My son, just beyond the gold mine, if you go a little further down, you will find a diamond mine." The woodcutter was very, very pleasantly surprised and he said, "My God, I didn't know about it." And he immediately, without any further delay, went further and lo and behold, he found the diamond mine. He got a job there, started working, and then one day the mystic realized that the woodcutter stopped coming this way. So many months passed by, years passed by, and the sage continued to sit under the tree. The woodcutter had stopped coming. One day, the sage was curious and he said, "Let me find my friend, the woodcutter friend, who went to the diamond mine and then never appeared." So he went down into the woods, in the thick of the woods, and somewhere deep down he found a clearing. And in the clearing, there was a huge palace built. He had not seen that palace earlier. So again, out of curiosity, he went to the palace and the doorman who was there, he asked, "Whose palace is it?" So this is a very rich man's palace and he really made it in his life. He was a woodcutter and then from there he went to a coal mine, then went to a gold mine and then finally to a diamond mine. And he minted a lot of money and from this he created a palace and lived a very lavish life. So the sage said, "I think I know him. Would you please call him so that I can get his audience?" So seeing a sage, the doorman did not stop him. He said, "Why don't you come along with me inside? I'll get you to meet this man." The mystic was led in and he got face to face with the then woodcutter. The woodcutter immediately recognized him and fell on his feet. He said, "You have architected my life. Had it not been for you, today I wouldn't have been here. I have no end of wealth. I have no miseries. I am feeding my children. They have grown up. My wife is happy and I am happy. Most importantly, I feel now more powerful because this wealth has given me a lot of influence over people around me." So the woodcutter had a very amused smile on his face. He said, "I'm very, very happy, boy, that you have made it to this place." He paused for a while and then he said, "If you had gone a little further." He paused a little. The woodcutter asked, "Further? Something more was there?" "Yeah, if you had gone a little further, you would have found my ashram. You would have found my hermitage." So that, my friend, has been my journey too. From the time I started my career till date, like the woodcutter, I have been seeking wealth of purpose, wealth of wisdom, wealth of fulfillment, wealth of wholesomeness. And there has been a sage inside me my own guiding spirit, and of course, my angel guides who have taken me from one mind to the other. I was with the IT industry for 16 years. Something didn't agree with me. I left the industry, I left my job, I left everything, started on my own. Early 2000, went in search of doing something which was more meaningful, more purposeful. Became a freelance consultant. By the way, I have been studying behavioral science for 15 years before that. I was a scholar and a practitioner, and then I started practicing OD consulting, leadership consulting, and learning and development consulting. Very soon, 2001, I started my own first entrepreneurial initiative, iProdigy, which redefined the way learning happened with people. But all along, there was this restlessness. All along, there was this thing that there is something ahead. The sage inside me, the inner guide inside me was propelling me, was urging me, was egging me to move forward. And I think sometime around 2010, I got to know about Bach therapy and Bach remedies, and I experienced it. And intuitively, I knew that this was my next sojourn. So I started dabbling with it. All through my life, I have learned through my own experiences. Yes, books have helped me, teachers have helped me, but unless I have experienced the knowledge that has been passed on to me, it has not been translated into personalized wisdom. And without it being personalized, I couldn't have applied it. So that became a very fascinating journey of dabbling with Bach remedies. I started making combinations which are called composites for the house help, family members, of course, friends. I did not publicize it. Whenever somebody came, I still remember very early, I still hadn't started my professional practice. A neighbor of mine, she went through an accident, and the doctors diagnosed that post-accident she was suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And she came to me and she said, I was a transformational coach and a psychotherapist before that. By the way, these are some of those, the coal mine, gold mine, silver mine, whatever. And people thought that with guidance, with some counseling, I can help them. So I told her, look, I have something which I'm going to experiment with you. It's not harmful, it's absolutely safe. If it does not work, it will not work. That's the worst that can happen. But if it works, you might be out of your syndrome. And I am blessed by the supreme powers to be guided to heal her in 3 months. She still, till date, remains my first client and is very grateful for me and the flowers to have helped her out of that situation. Now the question is this where I'm going to be? Somebody asked me. I don't know. As I said, the journey is more important. Each time I arrive at a sojourn that seemed to be a destination, but today I strongly believe that there is no destination. And therefore there is no arrival. There's only a hint of arrival. I think the ashram, the hermitage, the ultimate state of attaining that level of consciousness, bliss consciousness, you may call it. You may equate that ashram with that. And someday, I hope, I pray I reach there. But today, if you ask me, this is my journey. As somebody asked me the other day, for how long are you going to be practicing Bach therapy? I said, till the last day of my life. So this is a journey that I have purposefully chosen for myself. I became a professional practitioner a few years down the line. I started combining bachelor therapy with transformational coaching and saw some very fascinating results with very senior leaders in the industry. And just a few years down the line, I announced formally, after getting certified, that I am going to practice bachelor therapy professionally. And when the pandemic came, I think to me it came more as an opportunity to help people as much as I can. So I just went all out to help people, not only from the physical distress, but also from the anxiety, the social isolation, and being in a lockdown kind of situation, other emotional challenges that they were facing. And I think that was the beginning of what seems to be a never ending journey for me. So, that, my friend, is my journey. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I would like this to be an interactive session. I, I hate listening to my voice for a very long time. I like people to ask questions, engage with me, share their insights, and that's how we move forward. A very humanistic way of moving forward. Any questions?
So it's close to 12 years now in with Bach therapy for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay. So how do you feel it as a journey, right? Like, say, from
Huh,
your personal
awesome.
family to a professional practitioner.
It's a very fascinating journey, Arun, but all I can say that I'm still learning.
Hmm.
So let me ask, how many of you are aware of bachelor remedies and bachelor therapy? You can uh, put the raise hand icon. Okay, awesome. So, and how many of you are using bachelor remedies? I know Swapna does it. I know Jaya does it. Now, I will take you through the course where you will see the evolution of, Chamu says she used it for a few days, of this fascinating modality of healing, holistic healing. However, because it is an evolving science, if you need to grow, you need to constantly learn. And if you need to learn, you need to constantly practice it. So as I am practicing, almost every day there's something new for me to learn, something new for me to have discovered and integrated with my practice system, which the benefit of which goes to those who come thereafter. Not that those who came before don't get benefited, they get benefited to the extent that they are meant to be. That's how I believe. So that's how it is going to be, Arun. And as I learn, so I serve. Have I answered your question, Arun?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
Got
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Chamu, any questions? Okay, so maybe you can wait till I unfold all that I have to say. Ananya, thank you so much for rejoining. I hope your glitches are taken care of. So, what is it that is going to be new? I'm sure if you have joined you have some understanding of this therapy, of this mode of healing, which I also call transformative healing. But what is going to be new? Let me share that. I come from a background of behavioral science, and my initial few years of purposeful journey, the purpose being enabling transformation in lives of individuals. The initial few years, what has stood in good stead for me and helped me to learn is the whole being, the human being. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, the practice of Bach flower therapy by and large does not integrate this science. It's still very remedy centric. I will share with you a little later how the evolution has happened from remedy centrism to transformative healing. But at this stage, I can say that the perspective that I bring in this webinar is an intersection of behavioral science, quantum science, and the bedrock of holism as an approach. Okay, so we'll move forward. Let me quickly ask you, what do you prefer out of these three? Medicines to treat your symptoms, or medicines plus, let's say, diet or yoga or exercise to cure your disease, or remedies to heal you as an individual? What do you prefer?
Third option, remedies.
Remedies to heal. Can you raise the raise hand icons? Can you share so I will get to know? Okay, the first one. How many of you? The first one. No? You don't want medicines to treat your symptoms? Okay. Medicines that can cure your diseases, whatever disease you have. It may be a very simple disease, it can be a lifestyle disease, it could be a disease that comes and passes by and then again comes back. Nobody? Very good. And how many of you, can you raise hands, are looking at remedies to heal you as an individual? Arun raised hand. 3 participants raised hands. Awesome. So I'm in good company. Let's look at this quote from Dr. Edward Bach, who was the discoverer of the 38 amazing remedies which can cure or heal almost all conceivable mental, emotional, and physical conditions out of 6 million composites that can be made out of it. Now, this is what Dr. Bach has to say. And believe you me, this is one of the things that I very strongly believe in, and it has helped me in course of my helping people to heal. I don't heal, I'm just an instrument, but I can help people to heal. The belief that the disease is just a symptom. The condition has manifested because of some emotional cause. People with diabetes over a period of, let's say, 1.5, 2 years have reversed through Bach flower therapy and diet. People with autoimmune diseases like IBS, for example, or IBD, are well on their way to get healed. Why? Because underlying all so-called disease are certain emotions. and to be able to fathom those and be able to heal them helps us to heal almost all conceivable symptoms. And when I say disease, I don't only mean physical disease. It could be mental, it could be emotional, it could be physical, it could be professional, it could be financial, it could be social, and we'll see how it happens a little while from now. Heal the individual, not the illness. That's the other thing, which is a corollary of this, which Dr. Bach again said, that don't get bogged down with he was a very simplistic man. So he would look at the individual and he will try to understand the individual, find the challenge in the individual to become a whole being and heal that to help the individual come close to being a whole being. So that brings us to the world of holism. How many of you are aware of holism? Just raise your hands. It's something that is happening day in and day out in our life. We may not be practicing it because we are conditioned to have a more analytical mind than an appreciative mind. But when you wake up in the morning and look at the freshly bloomed flower in your garden and appreciate it as a whole, you're taking a holistic approach to not just understanding but knowing and relating to another life. But if the same flower is separated into petals, stamens, pistil, and its different parts, which is called reductionism, it will not hold the same beauty, right? Day in and day out, we send smileys on WhatsApp. So what is a smiley? It's a curved line, right? Taking a reductionist view, it's a curved line. But taking a holistic view, it's a smile. So everything that is alive calls for a holistic view, a holistic approach, where the essential paradigm is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And it's the whole that lives, not the sum of the parts. But we have grown up in the industrial era, the era of machine, where the parts of the machine are brought together to make the machine work. Unfortunately, people have started believing that they are machines, so they don't look at themselves holistically, neither do they look at the other holistically. It's sad. However, to be able to diagnose an individual and heal an individual, the approach of holism is absolutely, absolutely essential. There is no substitute to it. So you can see where the word healing comes from. So when we say healing and we don't subscribe to holism, you can see where the disconnect is. Right? Healing, health, and being holy. And being whole, W-H-O-L-E, also comes from the old English healen. That's the root of all these words. And there is a meaning for it. It's not just pedantics. It's the practice of healing, practice of healthy, practice of being holy, and practice of being a whole being that has made us connected to the root, which is healing. Just let it sink inside you a little. It will help you to fathom the next few slides, the next few concepts that I'm going to share with you. So when we look at an individual as a whole, the first thing that comes to seeing the individual is not as his physical body alone. There are practices, people who are into aura healing, people who are into study of auras and the energy around us.
Charge பண்ண வரும்.
Can you please mute your microphone if you're
Someone
not
put a
speaking?
charger here, I'll try.
Which charger? Shutting this off?
Wait, let me mute him. Yeah, he's muted. Okay. Yeah, so way back, 5,000 years back, sage Patanjali had propounded there are 5 levels of consciousness or 5 levels of existence: Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanmaya Kosha, and the last one I'm forgetting, bliss body, Anandamaya Kosha. Much later, a very accomplished researcher of quantum science, Amit Goswami, Dr. Amit Goswami, brought out the same concept through his research, that we as a whole being exist beyond our physical body. Beyond the physical, just beyond the physical body, is the vital body, which is the prana. In very simple terms, it is our breath. Just beyond that is the mental body, our thoughts, feelings, and other emotions. Beyond that is the supramental body, that body which drives our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, which is predominantly lying in the unconscious or the subconscious. That's the supramental body. And finally, the bliss body, which is where you move out of all the shackles of being fragments and come to the unity to become a whole. Now that's a journey. But interestingly, if you look at different modalities of healing, there are certain modalities, for example, medicine, diet, Ayurveda. They work excellently on the physical body, but more at the physical layer, the physical body of consciousness. So they don't go beyond that to heal the vital body or mental body or supramental, definitely not the bliss body. Vital body, people who are working with pranic healing and pranic energies, also acupressure, acupuncture, they help in bringing the vital force inside us back to balance. Mental body, homeopathy. Many people don't know, but homeopathy works on the mental body and thereby heals the physical body because there is a trickle-down effect. However, the supramental body, there are very few therapies, there are very few modalities that can approach the supramental body, that is, approach the unapproachable, approach the unknowable, the hidden, the unconscious. The one is Bach flowers, hypnotherapy could be another, and maybe a few others which are not so well practiced. But out of this, Bach flowers is something which I personally have found. I have dabbled with many of these modalities, but the one that I found very simple and yet very deep is Bach flower therapy. How do you heal the whole? So the first thing is taking a gestalt or a humanistic approach. Gestalt means looking at the whole to be able to understand the parts. The opposite is looking at the parts to be able to understand the whole, which is nothing but sum of the parts. Sum of the parts is not the whole, but Gestalt gives us, it's a very specialistic, I would say, psychological branch of psychology, branch of behavioral science, which I managed to graduate and get certified as a psychotherapist, Gestalt psychotherapist, and that helped me. It needs a lot of disciplining, lot of unlearning, and a lot of practicing to take that Gestalt approach. upholding the complex dynamics between environment, emotions, and drivers. So, when we look at holism, or when you take a Gestalt approach to understanding an entity in its wholeness, it brings into you the understanding and appreciation of the complex dynamics of environment, emotions, and the drivers, which is very true of Bach, but unfortunately very little understood. Now, therefore, this brings us to the most key shift that is required in the mind of therapy or therapist. From being illness centric, which is looking at the part of a body or part of a human existence, instead looking at the entirety of human existence, the totality of human existence, which is being client centric. And mind you, all this was not possible had I not been led by that inner sage to become a scholar of behavioral science and later on of Gestalt psychology. Building a trusting bond. Now, building a trusting bond can only happen if you take an appreciative, holistic view, right? If you meet a person and then you immediately start dissecting him into his, strengths and weakness, as we call it, and start interacting differently with the strength and differently with the weakness, do you think you can ever build a trusting bond? Never. All the more because you're not looking at a person as a living being if you're not taking the holistic view, but you are taking the analytical reductionist view. And finally, balancing analysis with appreciation to carry out structured consultation. These are the few things, the 5 things that are required right at the beginning. I'm sharing because my intention in this webinar is to share with you that aspect of bachelor therapy which is relatively, I would say, ignored. It's not that people don't know, they know about it, which is the humanistic aspect, the consultation and the diagnostic aspect. People are more focused at the remedy, and the remedies are very fascinating, and that I think is kind of drawing them to know more and more. But you cannot help yourself or anybody by just knowing the remedies unless you discipline yourself and learn to know the whole being. So with that, we come to know more about the remedies, and I think those who are already initiated would know most about it. About 100 years back, Dr. Edward Bach started on his journey getting disillusioned with modern medicine, and that modern medicine, again, the modern medicine view is very analytical. It's not holistic. He didn't like it. He was not liking the fact that it didn't uphold the human spirit. So that's why he shifted to homeopathy, and then finally he became the discoverer of bachelor remedies, 38 of them. Now, interesting part is this: flowers of higher frequency, the energetic or the signature imprint of their energy is captured in the bottle. For those who you don't know, there is no chemical in it. There is no chemical in the remedy bottle. If you do a chemical analysis, all that you will get is water and alcohol. Water is used to extract the essence of these flowers, wherein lies the signature energetic imprint of the flower, and alcohol is used to preserve that. Purely vibrational. So what happens? If it is purely vibrational, that means it will not interact with any chemicals. It cannot be addictive. It cannot have any side effects. Right? Can you imagine that in a very casual way, seemingly, he just brought those 38, and in a very casual way, we also kind of administer or take these remedies or give it to others. But we never think, is there any other thing, any other medicine, any other uh, medium that you ingest which can be so safe, which can be so non-interactive, non-addictive? What is important? Yes, it is 4 million, not 6 million. I said 6 million sometime back. This is the most fascinating part. So therefore you can imagine almost all conceivable diseases can be addressed through this. Now, I use the word vibration, and I think now I'm bringing in the vibrational reality of healing with Bach flower therapy. No less than Albert Einstein had said this. And later, David Hawkins did his research. If you can see this right-hand side slide, you will see emotions like guilt, shame, apathy, grief, fear. They create an environment where the vibration, our personal energetic vibration, becomes low. Our existence becomes dense. As we move up, the vibration increases, and from being dense and gross, we become more and more subtle. Interestingly, if you notice, things like anger and pride are at a higher vibration than guilt and shame. So in therapy also, when we approach therapy, there are certain guidelines. For example, we first try to clear up guilt and shame and apathy and grief before we try to heal anger, pride, and things like that. At the point of neutrality, we switch from being fear-led to being love-led, right? And thereafter, we move on a virtuous path. It's an alchemical journey from being in a vicious circle to moving to a virtuous circle. And then acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. Sorry. Yeah, so I was talking about the evolution because of what I said just now. Obviously, when a science is just nascent and is just born, people use it in the most primitive way. So, right at the beginning, in mid-90s, when Dr. Bach had just come out with the remedies, people were using single essences for temporary relief. Even now, some people do that. But that's only for temporary relief. It's a palliative. Later on, late 90s, we had therapists, I'm aware of some of them, who put together some of the remedies to heal certain conditions or illnesses. So they heal maybe anxiety, they heal maybe depression, anger, self-sabotage, exhaustion, intolerance, injustice, all of that. But that was again a reductionist view to the whole thing. We are not sum total of our illness. We are beyond that. It is much later, and you will be happy to know that the credit of bringing it to the third level of evolution goes to all that batch and all that batch, close to 300 therapists, where we looked at the whole being and therefore looked at a process of transformation from being fragmented personas, individual. If you look at it, that's the word individual. But when we are diseased, we are divided into different personas. Through Bach flower therapy, we can be reintegrated, and that process of reintegration takes us through a journey of transformation. That's why early 2000, we started using personally me and then people who have gone through the education that I have helped them with, they are also taking the path of transforming lives by healing with Bach therapy. So today we call it the floral alchemy because there's an alchemy that happens. Now this is not theoretical. I can vouch for it myself. 2016, I had a mild episode of depression. That's when I decided to make Bach flower a way of life because my depression healed in 6 months. But the fascinating effect that I saw on myself made me vouch for the therapy and the remedy. And today, when I look back to who I was 6 years back, I cannot recognize myself. There are umpteen number of my clients who vouch for that. If you go to our website, you'll find some videos where people have vouched for it. So my friends, don't stop at relieving, don't stop at healing illnesses, but make transforming lives your goal. Whether you are healing yourself or healing somebody else, nothing less than that should be your goal because that is the potential with which this amazing modality is blessed. If you are doing anything less than that, then you're suboptimally using a powerful tool that human beings have. This is something which is a corollary of the vibrational element of healing with Bach flower essences, that if everything is vibration, if my vibrations are harmonized, it will help me in harmonizing the vibrations around me, right? All the realities that are there around me. In the first place, inside me, it will harmonize my behavior, thoughts and feelings and my limiting beliefs and bring me in a state of equilibrium with my environment, right? But having done that, it can heal your financial challenges, your professional challenges, your lifestyle diseases, and all of this. I have examples. That's how I'm talking about. Distracted children, immensely it is helping them. Relationships, because ultimately relationships are extremely vibrational. It doesn't depend upon the transaction that happens between you. I'm sure you know that the day you are not happy or you're angry, your partner will know even without you saying that and accordingly behave without knowing that the partner is complimenting a behavior based on your vibration. And of course, mental health issues, which is perhaps the most potent area for application of Bach flower therapy. Beware of some of the myths and mindsets because of which there has been a rampant misuse of Bach flower therapy. People believe that it addresses and treats physical ailments. There are people who practice that. Please don't believe in that. There is a formal method of taking notes, of case taking, of doing consultation and arriving at an emotional diagnosis, healing which will help you heal the physical ailments. There are specific remedies to heal specific illness. They have gone beyond that. Now they have defined remedies. Take, for example, mustard and this will get healed. Your eyesight will get healed. I heard about that somewhere. Take heather if you know about the remedies and your sinusitis will get healed. It's all some kind of quackery. Please don't get misled by that. Bach flower remedies are palliative to lift our moods. That's the other thing that happens. You go with, let's say, some huge confusion in your mind, and the therapist gives you a mix of rescue remedy and some remedies and say, go. And then you feel so good for a week or two, and you believe that you've got healed, and the therapist also glosses all over and tells people, I healed that person. No, it has not got healed. These are all very reductionist way of looking at healing, whereas healing is equated with the whole. Anyone can practice and heal with Bach flower therapy. No, sir, not at all. You need to have a very, very strong understanding of human behavior, and most importantly, that you can pick up on your way. But what is very important for that understanding is the appreciation of wholeness of being human, which is something that you need to discipline yourself with. These are the mindsets. Fixation with physical body. Today you have a pain in your arm, you'll run to the doctor. But you have a niggling sensation of fear inside you, you will not approach a professional. You will say, let me sleep over it, it will get fine tomorrow. But you don't realize that suppressing one emotion today can lead to disastrous physical symptoms tomorrow. Complete disregard for mental health, disease to cure mindset, which I talked about a little while ago. I'm happy that none of you believe in that, but that is how the world looks at. The people are having metformin or other allopathic drugs to keep their diabetes in check, and they believe it's cured. None of it has got cured. Stop the medicine, it will come back. I have live proof of that. People who have come to me for permanent healing of diabetes have shared with me that history. The fixed mindset, which is also called the band-aid therapy, very often again happens with bodily symptoms. I have a backache, can you fix me? So there are things like body map and all that, which Dietmar Kramer, the discoverer himself, believes is just a temporary solution. The best thing is to do an emotional diagnosis and from there arrive at a composite and heal the emotional cause that has caused the back pain. Workout, yoga, meditation mindset will keep me happy. This is very, very interesting. Now, sir, you have just seen the physical body and the supramental body, which is the fourth layer on which Bach flower works. What you are doing is making your physical body fit, and thereby some hormones, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins are getting released in your blood, which are giving you a temporary high, underlying which the mental or emotional imbalance is growing. I mean, have you ever thought in the last few months, not less than 5 head honchos and celebrities died of severe cardiac arrest? Why? Typical routine is workout, yoga, meditation, and even a regular diet. But they have been conditioned to ignore and disregard their mental health, all the more because they are celebrities. There can't be anything wrong mentally. They have to paste a smile on their face, right? Because they're supposed to be motivating. So they have stress, and on top of this, the stress of not being able to reveal the stress. Off the shelf mindset. Many people come and ask me, sir, what is the remedy for exhaustion? A medicine shop, they will give you some medicine for exhaustion. Everything is individualized. Your exhaustion could have come because you are too overburdened because of your tendency to please someone. Your exhaustion could have come because you have been very, very enthusiastic, over enthusiastic, and burnt out yourself. Or exhaustion could have come because you have worked very hard for prolonged hours, leading to exhaustion. Unless we get to understand that, unless we get to know the individual, what is the nature, what is the personality, is he the people-pleasing kind, is he the uh, passionate, over enthusiastic kind, or is he the workaholic kind? So that's as far as the myths and the mindsets are concerned. I will just go back to the slide, but just a few slides and then I'll take your questions. How is bachelor therapy compared with other therapies? Have a look at it. Why is bachelor so preferred today? It's a very interesting paradox that we are in. People don't know how to heal with bachelor, but at the receiving end, the clients, at least the ones that I know, after having gone through different modalities of healing, they have settled for bachelor therapy. Why? Because look at the rightmost column is the safest and without any side effect. Ease of treatment, just imagine 4 times a day you have to take the remedies, that's it. At the most maybe a couple of times in the evening. Investment of time and effort, minimal. You don't have to sit for hours with a counselor, you don't have to sit for hours doing yoga, you don't have to, and that too making sure that you continue to having that regime all through. You don't have to go to Ayurvedic doctor and prolonged hours of consultation and pulse checking and all that. As a matter of fact, with a little guidance, you can self-heal yourself. Works on the supramental body, which is just below the bliss body. Not the highest level of consciousness, but just the level below than the highest level of consciousness, which means its effect is overarching. It can heal almost anything that you can conceive of. There is no contamination. This is very important. Even as an individual, material is not there. There is no chemical, so there is no contamination. But imagine the healing process is carried out by the flowers. The healing process is carried out by the flowers. The other day, I heard a psychologist or a counselor counseling a patient who got into a self-destructive mood, who was also my client, and for 20 minutes, she counseled him by telling him of different theories, by impinging upon him her perception of how to manage the mode of self-destruction. Don't you think that guy got contaminated? We as individuals carry our own biases, our own assumptions. So in bachelor therapy, when people come to me for education in bachelor therapy, the biggest no-no is no advice, no counseling, no coaching, no consultation. Just diagnosis, make the composite, explain it to the client, and let the flowers heal. Let the flowers heal. That is the mantra. And because of its ease of use and because of low investment of time and effort, it's supposed to be the most sustainable. People have been around with me for more than 2 years, 2.5 years, definitely 6 months to 1 year. And it is required for sustainable healing because nothing happens overnight. As you could see, our whole being is in layers of consciousness, and we need to heal those layers one by one. You saw the map of vibration, the map of consciousness of David Hawkins. There also there's layers. So our existence is very layered. So to be able to heal the whole being and take the being through a transformational journey, the therapist needs to be committed, the client needs to be committed to go through a journey. It is not the mindset of one single consultation and then I as a therapist, I forget the client also forgets the therapist, and then something again happens and comes. That doesn't work. That doesn't work for bachelor therapy. So in all that batch, we have a contract with every client that comes in. First thing we say, there is no single consultation. Second, we say, after doing a discovery consult, this much time it will take. You need to get into a contract which is more like a psychological contract, which is also written for us to be able to bring you to a certain semblance of transformation and healing. And finally, because of its phenomenal impact. My earnest urge to you, I don't remember 2016 onwards a single day when I have not taken bath remedies. It's like the breath I breathe, the water that I drink, the food that I eat. It's a means of sustenance. Why? Because it's not medicine, it's vibration. So get out of your mindset of taking in medicine. People use the word medicine for remedies. I get very upset. I said, no, it's not medicine, it's a remedy. Remedy means it's correcting you of the wrong path that you have taken. You have strayed from the path that you should have taken, that your inner sage told you. And this remedy will bring you to the path and take you to that level where you will connect with your higher self. That, in essence, is what bachelor therapy is all about. Now, your questions, please feel free. I am taking off the slide. You can switch on your video cameras for the next 10-15 minutes. I'd love to take some questions. Waiting for your questions, please. I'm sure you have questions. Unless you have not understood anything that I have said and I have been going above the head. Is that so? Say yes or no. Yeah, Arun. You want to speak?
Yeah, I'm just trying to phrase my question. That's it.
Just come like that. Don't worry. You don't have to phrase it.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, my friends, I have shared a link to a form. I would request you to please take down the link and fill up the form. That will help us to stay connected and continue the journey with you. And maybe it will give you some further insights in terms of how to go about using this tidbit of knowledge that I have tried to share with you. So please fill up the form and I will check and I'll get back to you. Yes, Arun.
Yeah, so the question is most likely, from what I understood, the gist, especially on the last slide, the conflict between what yourself wanted to do and what you are actually doing. That is what is creating the
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So, if due to say social or say the environmental pressure,
Right,
you go in the wrong route, or say you are deviating from what your conscious says, right?
right.
So how do you backtrack it? Like, so even with
No,
this
you don't. See, if the tree is diseased, you don't clip the leaves, right?
Hmm,
You go to the root and heal the root.
hmm,
But unfortunately, most modalities, and thank you for asking this question, try to bring in behavioral modification. Most
hmm,
modalities addressing mental health issues. That doesn't help. Now look at this. If I have strayed from my path, which was I was destined to take, the track that I was destined to take, it has it has happened because of certain conditionings, right?
hmm, hmm.
Because of my growing up period. Where are these conditionings, Arun? They are in my unconscious, the supramental layer,
Right.
and which can be easily healed by backflows. Once they are healed, then my innate life force brings me back to that journey, to that path which I'm supposed to traverse on. Very
Okay.
simple. Yeah.
Hmm, hmm. So
So this
basically,
is safely, absolutely, very safely.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, Chamo.
Actually, in medicine, you mentioned if we test the remedy, we can find only water, alcohol,
And
uh,
nothing. And
nothing.
nothing. And nothing.
Only vibration of flowers.
Yes.
So we have different flower remedies. They have different taste.
They have no tastes are because different concentration of alcohol. That's it. It has
Okay.
got nothing to do with any chemical.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Any other question? Yeah, Ananya, I
Hi.
see you unmute. Yes, tell me.
Yeah. So how do I know that if if I want to okay, so I use Bach flower remedy on myself, and then how do I know that I can learn this and take it forward? So the calling, as in like you said you have a calling, right, for the Bach flower,
Yeah, so
and
at your gut, if you feel that there is a nudge, that is
right.
how I got my inner guide to guide me. I felt the nudge and moved in that direction. That's how I moved towards behavioral science. So if you feel that gut, please fill up the form and I will get back to you and I'll guide you.
All right. So another question is, um, so how long will it take for me, like if I have to, practice this and become, a consultant or
Okay, so let me first check with you. What are you doing right now? What is your profession, if any?
I work as a HR.
Awesome. So that means you are day in and day out dabbling with human beings, right?
Yes, that's right.
Unless it is HR operation.
Yeah, it's a combination of HR operation and people. Yeah.
And people. So
Mm.
any which way you are talking to people and your nature of job would have sensitized you to people, right?
Yes, that's right.
So, so the first part is we have a certification course which is now expanded to a 15-hour certification course. You start that and then you go through a process of certification. So that course automatically does not certify you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to apply whatever you have learned in 3 case studies and in 3 cases and make case studies which get reviewed, and after it gets reviewed you are certified. That's the step 2. The step 3 is shadowing, where you carry out consultation and I observe you in the act of consultation and give you feedback. Also, I carry out consultation, you observe me and share your observations. So maybe the second comes first and then, or maybe it can be mixed. So then there is a certain understanding, another evaluation, that you are at that level where you can be a client-centric bachelor therapist who can get into transformative healing of individuals. We are very particular that we will certify and a client, as a student, as a practitioner only when they are capable of holistically healing the individual, which
Mm-hmm.
normally I would say should not take more than a year.
Oh, it takes almost a year.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because it is not what you see in the marketplace that people go and do a 3 or 4 day session and take a certificate, and the very next day they announce that they can heal this, and then they start YouTube and all sorts of things are happening, unfortunately. But that's creating more noise than music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it.
Yeah. It took me about, I think for me, it took me, with all the understanding of behavioral science and gestalt psychotherapy and all that, it took me about, yeah, 3 years. 2015 is when I was absolutely sure, and I had no teacher, that's why it took me a longer time. I was my own teacher. And then I knew that yes, I'm ready to take on the onus of a client and help the client to heal. But here you'll be guided also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Another 3 minutes. Jaya, no question. The curious kind has no question. Vanita.
I'm just giving the thoughts and trying to find out exactly what exactly it is. So just
Are
running the
you
thoughts through my
are
head
you
and
coming
trying to
across
understand it.
are you coming across this healing
Yes,
modality for the first time?
yes, first time.
I'm so glad. Welcome, Vanita. Very, very good. Here is at least one person who I hope is now going to go out of curiosity to try it out. Just fill up the form and let's see how I can guide you on your journey
Okay.
to integrate Bach flower therapy as a way of life.
Sure. Let me just think it through.
Sorry?
Let me just go through it, think it
Yeah,
through in
please.
my head.
Yeah, also,
I have to analyze it actually.
I will share a recording of the webinar after
Yeah. Okay.
doing necessary editing of this with you, but that will take some time. But yes, I think please think through, not a problem. Take your time.
Sure. Thank you.
Welcome. If there are any questions that come up later also, please fill it up in the form and I will definitely revert to you. I mean, now please take it as given that for next episodes you will be naturally invited to this event, to this serial. Yes, Arun.
When is the next event? Sorry.
So next event, I have still not decided, Arun. I want to
Okay.
hear from, do you want it monthly or you want it fortnightly?
I would say fortnightly would be better, right?
Fortnightly, Chamu, fortnightly, monthly? Fortnight, Jaya, fortnight. Okay, we'll do it
Yes.
fortnight. So, mid of December, early Jan, and mid Jan, then early Feb, mid Feb, like that we'll do. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah. Also, please stay connected and ask for topics that will be of help to you. Typically, we'll cover different aspects of ailment or different contexts of ailments like mental, emotional, physical, financial, professional, relational, social. In the professional life, how can it help in the professional? I'm very fascinated with my experiments with that flower in the professional life because that's one area where I started with. I worked with business leaders for that matter. And then, of course, we'll be dealing with uh, ailments that happen typically for women, for men, for children, for seniors, all of that. Okay. So, shall we say a very good night and a very, very heartfelt thanks to all of you for joining me and stay in touch. We'll keep meeting and we'll keep going together towards the ashram.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.